Okay, today we are having a discussion. So this is actually an activity. Activity in the sense we are going to discuss about green marketing practices. You people know very well about what is green marketing, right? What is it?
And we use a lot of BIS, international standards or Indian standards, so that it will ensure that the products that has been given or provided for starting from manufacturing or service sector, so the products is of no harm to the consumers. So it is like forecasting in two different modes. One is for the people, so individual perspective, and one for the environment. So it involves green marketing in both.
Okay, so you're ensuring a safe and secure product, both safe for environment at the same time for the consumers who are buying the product. You are giving an highest importance to your customers as well as to the society and for the environment. So what's the activity today is that we are going to discuss about green marketing practices. How can a company introduce green marketing practices and what are the recent problems that have been shooted out in green marketing practices by the organization. So we are going to bring out solution for those problems in basis of a DT framework. So what is a DT framework? What are the stages in DT?
It has empathy, define, ideate, prototype and testing.
Okay.
Empathy is nothing but you take decisions, you think about the other perspective, you think from their shoes or they are part of you. And the second one is defining. You define what is the problem and then you think what can you do and what solutions can you give the people or the environment or the subordinates working under you. And ideate is nothing but you're creatively thinking what can be implemented, what can be done in order to have a clear and green environment. And prototype is nothing but you are also asking your subordinates or your employees working under you whether are they okay with the decisions taken or the things which are going to be implemented, are they okay with and will they be able to support the organization. That is prototype. And the last one is testing or implementing. While testing or implementing, one has to implement or test it on their real customers, that is the exact users who are going to use the product, and then get a feedback from them and start implementing or introducing everything new into the market.
Okay, great. I'm so happy that you people are clear with what is a design thinking framework and how we are going to clear the problems. So now it's a time, let's take a small, you should give a small explanation and clear explanation on what is a problem actually a company is facing to introduce a green marketing practices, how you are going to provide a solution based on these design thinking framework. So let us make it short. You say the first two types, empathize and define, and you may continue with prototype and test. Okay? Yes, start.
I'm starting with marketing. So now marketing has been increasingly become popular. So when something has been brought out for recent introduction or something else, so what happens when businesses, ultimately what happens, raw materials are the basic essentiality for every business. So without raw materials, no business can actually function. But when considering about allocation of resources and all, we obtain the resources from natural means. So sometimes what happens, businesses, in order to promote their sales or in order to promote their productivity, they'll start up a over-utilization of the natural environment, which leads to the destruction of the environment. So at that time what happens, that will be the core concern, so which is starting with the first stage of a design thinking, that is empathy. So here it develops a serious concern on the businesses that they have to reduce the utilization or the destruction that they are causing to the environment. If they can't do that, ultimately when they are needing the resources, they can take, but at the same time what happens, they have to substitute it along with some other thing. So like, let's take for an example of Mama Earth. So Mama Earth has been a wonderful and a very popular marketing agency, marketing company, which has been producing a lot of skincare and haircare products. So its ultimate goal, it's extracting minerals, materials from the natural resources, so it is destructing the environment. At the same time what happens, when it is selling some product, one product in a day or like 1,000 products in a day, so the people who are involved in purchasing, they will help and to promote the environmental concern, like they will be planting lots of trees, saplings, plants and all. So what happens here, they are taking the natural resources, but at the same time they substituting it along with that. Secondly, it's about defining. So this is when core concern is this one. At the same time what happens, one specific solution will not be solving the concern, because one particular person's single knowledge or single person's experience will not be able to serve. So at that particular time, only having a single solution will not serve for the cause. So there we have to have a lot of alternative solutions, so that why even if one solution goes on to failure, so the second solution will be there.
Option A,
Option B. In this case what happens, the business will also not suffer from scarcity, and at the same time it will also not suffer from surplus. In this case, it will satisfy the environment as well as it will satisfy the employees.
Great.
So-
So let's wrap up with next stage, prototype and test. So what's your idea on, she have written the problem statement, she have empathized, and she have also defined what can we do. So what's your idea on prototyping and testing it?
So prototype is nothing but when you're doing the when you're manufacturing something, you will obviously need the help of machineries as well as man. Power of man, we need labor. So here what we have to do, a company, the first step that it has to take is once the decision is made, without fully executing it on its own through the higher authorities and through the heads, it should also ask the subordinates whether they are okay with it and whether it will be, whether they will get a profit from that. Only the labor or the manpower will know how much of resources they are using, how much of man is needed, how much of machinery power supply is needed. When a product is actually manufactured, main things that they look on to is salary has to be given, the power supplies which they use for the machineries has to be fully into the product. That's how they that's how is the strategy for pricing a product. So when it comes to prototype, these are the things that I have to do. First of all, ask the employees whether they are okay with. As far as the always when it comes to green marketing, the products of green marketing will have a higher amount of prices because it's natural resources being used. And we have to ask the employees as well. So when it comes to testing with these products, you are supposed to test it with the real customers as told before, and then tell if they are okay with and if they be able to get the products from the market.
Okay, fine. So we are clear about how we are having a problem on how we can execute a better green marketing practices into the organization, and you people have clearly defined the process, you have empathized the situation and defined it well, and your prototype and testing model was also up to the mark. So let's discuss on further topics in next session.
Yes.